Star Trek vs. Star Wars, The Imperial War by Darius Trent. Chapter 5. Escape, as promised. She's all yours, Captain. All systems automated and ready. Reported Scotty as the bridge crew of the Discovery, spare for Ensign Tilly, walked onto the bridge. They still wore their uniforms from the era they came from, Federation blue with silver, copper and gold implants into the uniform. I would say a chimpanzee and 2 trainees could run, but now it doesn't even need the chimpanzee. And why would that be? Asked Saru, walking over to the command chair on his hoofed feet. That would be because of me, answered Zora, startling everyone in the room. My apologies for startling anyone. I am Zora, a manifestation of Discovery's computer attempting to fight off control. Fascinating, commented Michael Burnham, the ship's science officer. An artificial intelligence, created from the sphere data we recovered. Isn't she a beauty? Added Scott. Not only was she able to hide our activity aboard here, but she also helped me refit Discovery to more modern standards. She'll give Yi Warp 8 on the new scale now. Her shields are just as good as a Galaxy class, and she now has modern standard phaser arrays and transphasic torpedoes. I also have full control of all systems on this ship. Should you require Discovery to do anything, I will be able to do it. I can relinquish control to you though, if that's the way you'd prefer it right now. I think we'd prefer if you let us operate Discovery now, remarked Saru. Speaking of which, we should all get to our posts now. The bridge crew all moved to their respective positions, Saru to the captain's chair, Burnham to her science station, Detmer to helm, Aosecond to operations, Nielsen to spore drive control, Nyan to security, Reese to tactical and Bryce to communications. Lieutenant Detmer, take us out, ordered Saru. Aye, Captain, replied Detmer. Discovery started to move slowly out of the dry dock it was currently in, drifting out as alerts blared across Utopia Planitia. Captain, we've got an unknown vessel on an intercept course towards us, announced Aosecond. Put it on the viewer, ordered Saru. The ship came up on the transparent screen on a window. It looked like the standard Federation profile, but more streamlined, with shorter nacelles and a smoother hull. That's one of the brand new Vesta-class ships, exclaimed Scott. They're the ones with those confounded new quantum slipstream drives. Captain, the Vesta-class ship is hailing us, announced Bryce. On screen, ordered Saru. A human male appeared on the screen, with a Vulcan to his left and a Trill to his right. This is Captain Dexter of the USS Aventine, stated Dexter. Cut your engines and prepare to be boarded. Bridge to engineering, is the spore drive ready yet? Asked Saru. Commander Stamets is in the reaction cube, reported Tilly. We can start the spore drive build-up sequence whenever you're ready. Lieutenant Nielsen, start the spore drive build-up sequence, ordered Saru. Aye, sir, replied Nielsen, pressing a few buttons on her display, initiating excess energy cavitation. The outer and middle rings of Discovery started spinning as the ship started to run away from the Aventine. The Aventine wasted no time in pursuing them, firing several rounds from her phaser cannons, which the Discovery attempted to evade. A few pulses did manage to hit her though, but these were absorbed by her new shields, which encased the ship in a bubble. However, a single Imperial probe dropped out of hyperspace in front of Discovery. While they attempted to scan into the system, the Discovery accidentally crashed into it, destroying it and lodging the debris into the gaps in between the rings. What was that? Asked Saru. We just collided with what looks like a probe, reported Burnham. It's in the configuration of the Galactic Empire. We'll have to tell Admiral Picard that those daft Imperials have found a way to Saul when we get to him, added Scott. Speaking of which, we need to get to him, replied Saru as the ship shook with the impact of another phaser pulse. Do you have the coordinates Picard sent you? Yes, I do, answered Scott, inputting coordinates into the helm now. I have the coordinates, Captain, announced Detmer, ready to engage the drive on her command. Go, exclaimed Saru. Blue cracks started to form in the space surrounding Discovery. In desperation, the Aventine fired several quantum torpedoes at the Discovery, but it was too late. The ship flipped a full 360 degrees on its middle axis, before jumping down laterally in space, visibly fading away as the quantum torpedoes from the Aventine were condemned to forever travel through the depths of space. On the Discovery, the transition from their previous place to their destination was near instantaneous, a white blur filling the viewscreen before they arrived at their destination, in front of a small fleet of 5 ships, with a 6th one joining them shortly after Discovery's arrival. A Galaxy-class Venture refit moved to confront it, the massive saucer of the ship dwarfing the Discovery's ringed one. "Captain, that ship is hailing us," announced Bryce. "On-screen," ordered Saru. On the screen came a human male in his 30s with brownish hair. "This is Captain Darius Trent of the USS Arizona," greeted Trent. "You must be the Discovery." "We can't tell you how relieved we are to finally be at this point," commented Saru. "Are you aware of the presence of Imperial probes in the Sol system?" "We are," answered Trent. "We discovered they were using the neutral zone as a method of evading our patrols. We're meeting up here with the Enterprise to discuss our next move. You can join us when Enterprise arrives." "Understood, Arizona," replied Saru. "We look forward to discussing our situation." "We'll see you there, Arizona out." The transmission ended, closing the window it was on and leaving the viewscreen the sight of the Arizona and the other ships. On the Death Star, a meeting of the Joint Chiefs was in place. These men, assembled by the Emperor himself, were meant to help him guide the Empire to victory in martial manners. These men, though, were currently struggling to come to an accord as to how to crush the Federation. "If we use our stormtroopers, we will most certainly crush the Federation homeworld," yelled General Cassio Tag, the leader of the Imperial military. "Our invasions of their outer colonies shows that the Federation ground forces are no match for ours. Will all respect, General, your forces wouldn't even manage to get into the atmosphere of their homeworld," combated Admiral Conan Motti, the chief of the Imperial Navy. "Their starships would take out your landing craft just after they were launched." "And so what do you suggest, the Death Star?" asked Tag. "Precisely so, General," replied Motti. "We can use this battle station to wipe out their homeworld before they could react." "Ah, gentlemen, I see the meeting has started without us," stated Tarkin as he walked in with Vader behind him. "I have just received word that the Federation home system has been discovered. Although we couldn't get bearings on which planet their homeworld is on, we did get readings of a shipyard in orbit of the 4th planet, before the probe was rammed by this vessel." He put a recording of the ship on the viewer. The ship looked like other vessels they had seen from the Federation, except with 2 spikes in the concave dish and a bronze color on the hull. Behind it appeared to be another ship pursuing it, and even further beyond both of them looked to be a series of dry docks. The ship rapidly approached the camera before the screen turned to black and went into static. "What happened to the other probes?" asked Motti. "The decoys were all destroyed by the patrols, and the remainder reported they were pulled out of hyperspace before they were destroyed by vessels which look like this." Tarkin put up another image on the viewscreen. It looked radically different from a Federation starship, with a bird-like shape and a hollow shell-shaped body. It was colored green, and appeared to be much larger than any Federation ship seen to date. "Are these the Romulans mentioned in the briefing?" asked Tag. "I hardly think it matters," interrupted Motti. "We know where the Federation home system is, and we are currently meeting in the perfect weapon to destroy it." "But what of the Tantive IV?" queried Tag. "If the rebels have given the plans of this battle station to the Federation, it is very likely that they will be able to locate a weakness and exploit it." "The plans you refer to are now invalid," answered Vader. "Measures have been made to refit the Death Star against any possible attack. Besides, any attack made by the Federation against this station would be a useless gesture, no matter what technical data they've obtained," commented Motti. "This station is now the ultimate power in the multiverse. I suggest we use it." "Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed," combated Vader. "The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force." "Don't try to frighten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader," replied Motti. "Your sad devotion to that ancient religion didn't help you in the battle of the Ivor system or give you the ability to squash the Federation resista." Motti suddenly felt a strange force around his neck. He tugged at his collar to try to give him more space to breath, but it only led to him choking even more. He looked up at Vader, and saw the Sith Lord's hand in a choking hold pointing at his neck. "I find your lack of faith disturbing," tauntingly commented Vader as Motti continued to choke. "Enough of this, Vader, release him," ordered Tarkin. As you wish. He stopped force-choking Mahdi, leading to the Admiral to fall face first onto the table, shaking as he looked back up at Vader with fear in his eyes. This bickering is pointless, stated Tarkin. We will launch an attack on the Federation homeworld and destroy their capital planet, using this battle station and a sizable amount of escorts. We will then spread out through this galaxy until we have conquered its entirety. As you wish, Grand Moff, replied Tag. Should I put my troops through their paces? Train your troops for combat scenarios involving the mysterious teleportation ability their ships have, and ways to counter such attacks, ordered Tarkin. Yes, sir, replied Tag. He then proceeded to walk out of the room with his new orders. Mahdi, if you're quite done with lying on the table, yelled Tarkin, causing Mahdi to rise from his seat in panic. Assemble a fleet of 500 Star Destroyers to escort the Executor and the Death Star to the Federation capital. Yes, sir, replied Mahdi. I won't fail. You'd better not, threatened Tarkin as he watched Mahdi walk out with a silent glare. In space, the Death Star orbited Ivor Prime with its escorts. The Empire, now with a plan to crush the Federation, now worked on the plan to burn one of the dominant forces in the region to ashes and rumor.